That clock's a little slow. 5:30 having arrived, I'd like to call the order of the meeting of 10/18/2021 to order. We'll start with a pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Little change in the agenda. We're going to start off with Ray with the new plan. And after we go through the people that are here, we'll go into our non-public.
Good evening. So I looked at the plans, the way they went out, and I was looking at the two bidders. And there's a big discrepancy between the two bidders. So, I mean, there's $1,344 difference. So it's quite a bit substantial, and when I got looking at the prints, it wasn't clear to what they were bidding on. There was drawings of the another shed attached to that, which really wasn't even in the bid. And also, there wasn't clear on what was required from the code enforcement officer on those sheets. So I had taken it to Rick and I asked him, and I said, you know, what's the lap joint between the rafters? You know, you're going to an existing building, and they're 12 inches on center because it's a 16-foot span, and according to code, anything over 15 has to be 12 inches on center. So I said, okay. So I said, you know, you need at least a foot overlap, because if they put 4 or 6 inches overlap and nail the living tar out of it, it's just going to split,
Right.
and it's not going to be enough support with the snow load in winter. So he agreed. So I said, well, we're going to draw that in on it. And then also on the collar ties, there was no joist hangers in there, and they need to be joist hangers in because the collar ties are taking the weight. So we changed that to 2x8 and put collar ties and joist hangers on the collar ties. And I changed the rafters and put the lap joints in. So I basically redrew it, but I only drew it for the salt shed itself because that's what they're supposed to be bidding on.
Correct.
So I figured if they're both bidding on the same thing, they would be a little bit closer. You know, it was too far off. So I think that one person was probably bidding on the other building that was in the drawing, because if you looked at the original drawings, there was more than just the salt shed. So I changed it all around and just drew up a salt shed design only. And so my recommendation is if we put it out to bid again, and it comes in that far off, then
It was 13,000 difference.
13,000, I'm
Not
sorry, yeah,
1,300,
13,340.
Okay.
I mean, I could see if it, like I said, if it was $1,000 or $2,000, okay. But if you're bidding on the same lumber list, a material list, it can't be that far off. That's just, it was way too much. So I told John, I said, honestly, I can't give you a recommendation based on this because I know it can't be right. And he said, all right, well, we'll bring it back to the board and see what they want to do. So
I looked them
that's
over.
basically what we're doing tonight.
Yeah, I looked it over. It looks good.
Thank you.
Would we do it just to those two people, or just send it out to open bid again?
What I recommend is we put it out to an open bid, but Ray can contact those two bidders individually since they've already
Yeah.
submitted a bid out of fairness to them.
Okay.
So I guess it'll be an open.
And what's the time we're looking at through that? if
We could
put
do
it
2
open?
weeks,
Yeah.
shorten it up.
I just want to make sure that we're getting what we want.
Right.
Yeah, it was a heck of a,
Right.
13,000's a big
Well,
difference.
the other thing was the gauge of the metal wasn't on there. So I know from building all the sheds I've built in the 34 years with the state, if you don't go at least 29 gauge metal, you're going to have problems. Because if you went to Home Depot, cheapo, and bought theirs for $11 a sheet, you can't even put your body weight on it. It'll crinkle, and they've had sticks and stuff go through them. It's like paper. So you got to have a thicker gauge metal to hold up the winters in New England. So I put that on there as well, 29 gauge.
Right.
So that everybody's bidding on the same thing, because if one guy's bidding on $11 a sheet and the other guy's bidding on $30 a sheet, that can add up quick.
We need to get it going. Metal went up another 7% this week.
Yeah.
How's lumber doing?
It's climbing back,
Oh, okay.
going back up. Fall push is on. Any other questions from the board? Thank you, Ray.
Yeah, not a problem.
Good job.
Thank you.
Jeff and Dwight, are you ready? Why don't we take you now, then?
Yeah, Jeff Shute, back again on our gazebo plan. I think you guys have a revised plan in front of you. What happened is I went down and met with a couple of the guys that were gonna help us, and we looked at it. And we decided that the 100 by 100 that we talked about was too big, do too much damage in the area and a lot of work to get it back to what we needed. So we came up with this plan of 2 areas. One is 50 by 100 right by there's 2 telephone poles there that the fire department apparently used to use for some training or something. Cindy, I don't know if you remember that.
They had it for the muster, yeah.
Okay. We're gonna be just like 10 or 15 feet from the poles out 50 feet. And then we're gonna have a smaller area that's closer to the pit, that's in the area that all the grass is dead and where there's, the water washes down from the driveway. So that's the plan right now. I have, a bunch of loam being donated. And the plan too is we're not gonna strip anything, we're gonna add to it. So
Perfect.
we're not gonna be digging stuff up, we're gonna add loam to it to make it level, rather than try to dig it out, strip it, put it back. We'll work with we'll get some compaction on the loam so we can work on it and stuff. But I think it's a better plan and less work and less evasive to the area. So basically what you see is what we're talking about doing.
Why can't we bring it to the middle where the 40 is, just put the 50 by 100 there, or,
Because there's more of a hill there, and we're trying not to cut into the hill. So it's a flatter area there that will, basically if you're looking at the plan from the bottom side of the 100 to the poles, it drops about a foot. So that'll be filled by the poles, and then it'll be graded back down to the poles. There'll be just kind of reworking that area.
Where the water's coming off the driveway, are we gonna just wash out that small one? Or,
No, I actually met this morning with, Mark Young is gonna help us with this, and our idea is to actually create a swale through there, instead of having it more of a mishmash. So we'll direct the water, around that underground, the utility box that's there. Between that and the rink, the 40-foot rink might slide a little bit towards the bigger one. It may end up being together, but, I mean, it's pretty flat there anyhow, so. But,
it's pretty dead there too, like you said.
Yep.
You're not losing any useful space there.
We're actually going to gain if you reloam that.
Yeah,
right, it should be better.
Wonderful.
looks good.
Any other questions for Jeff?
Nope.
We already had the public hearing on this, so
Yeah.
you're good to go.
All right. Well, you may see piles of loam there tomorrow, so.
Good.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for all you're doing, Jeff.
And thanks for whoever's helping you build it out there.
Yep.
Probably Dwight.
He's got the rake. Thank you, guys.
Shane Corson isn't here. Do you want to just tell what we know, Fred, and we can vote on it?
Yeah,
This is, forget what what was the name of the owner previously?
Way back it was Day.
Oh, yeah. It's the Day property, which consists of
43 Old Center Road.
the original house, and then there's a lot across the street. And talking with the building inspector, he had said that there was a stipulation in the deed that said that the lot across the street had to be used for a septic system for the house. which is on the
Hmm.
east side of the road. I guess it was either last year or 2 years ago, they were able to take and do a septic system design to put a septic system on the east side and back of the house. So the lot on the west side was really no need to have it tied into the house. And looking at the whole situation, we technically have 2 separate lots. And I guess we're supposed to take and provide a vote with regard to stipulating that it is in fact 2 separate lots, and the one on the west side of Old Center Road can end up being used for a house lot if that's the intent of the owner.
This is it's a antique cape on one side and a little
Right
red.
next to Rick,
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Rick and Bugnacki.
yeah.
And I went to the ZBA meeting, and they approved what Fred just discussed, that they're gonna build a new home on the 3-acre lot across the street from the Little Cape. So we just need a vote saying that we agree that it's 2 lots divided by Old Center Road.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, John? You can let the Corsons know. You want to do the budget review first?
Sure.
Start off in the budget review with number 15, the FICA, because of an increase in pay.
Actually, Dick, at this time, all you need to do is notify the board, and for the minutes that those numbers were changed based on the salary increase for the police chief last week. That affected the FICA budget, but you've already approved it previously. It went up according to the increase in salary.
Okay. Next, it's not on your agenda, would be number 30, which is the police budget. Because of the salary increase.
So that's the only change?
There's a new bottom line for the police
Yeah.
budget because of the salary, yes.
Okay.
Do we have to move that bottom line?
I don't believe so, no.
As we all know about it.
The 2 budgets you have not reviewed this evening are highway and planning board. Highway was tabled last week, and planning board was just turned in recently.
That's number 17, so keep Cindy in line, we'll go with that next.
Yeah, the proposed budget for the planning board had only a few, was showing a decrease.
Hmm.
I thought we were holding all the numbers the same except for
It's a decrease in the employee line, too.
yeah. How did we get a decrease in the employee line?
Are you on the right date? What's the date that was printed?
I got 1018.
Hmm. Yep, that's what you put in our packets tonight. And it's showing a 16% decrease in the employee line.
You have $43,005 for the total?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
That's what I've got. Does that look right to you, Fred?
No.
Well, we can do it next week.
Yep. Let me take a look at that.
All that time putting it in there, Cindy.
Yay.
We did the administrative last week on the highway, we just have the,
Highway budget itself.
Yeah.
should be page 51.
And that is due to the diesel going back up to 16,500. The board increased that last week.
So we're showing a new budget of $743,615.
Which one is this?
Highway 15.
Number 51.
That's just the bottom line on it, bottom line page. Trying to remember, there were more reasons we tabled this last week than just
Cindy had a
that.
question, I don't
Cindy
remember.
had one question, I do have an answer for her. She asked how much in the past we've taken out of the winter maintenance fund. In 2019, we took out $65,000.
That's the money we had to take out to get through the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I think it was, because it was salt and sand questions, if I remember correctly, that were coming up.
Yeah, because there's so much more money in the salt.
Right.
I think it was just that salt had gone up more.
What number is it?
51 is the bottom.
46 has the detail, and
Oh, okay.
Dick was moving the
There we go.
bottom line.
Oh, the other question was the, replacing the employee.
Mm,
If we're not gonna replace that employee, we don't need that.
So will we go back to administrative?
I'm sorry, Cindy, what was that?
The employee,
Yes?
I think that was the other question I had.
What page would that be on, John?
that's 44. Dick.
44. You folks approved that last week.
Oh, okay.
We can change it, Cindy, if you have a,
No, that's
you
fine.
know something.
I mean, I just didn't know if we had any, I know Steve had said something about if they wanted a part-time plow person. Well, I didn't think Carl plowed.
Kyle didn't, he ran the
I
loader.
mean, he can get, I don't know, but if we okayed it, I guess it's too late now.
We don't have backup for that, huh, John?
For,
On the administrative, the 217, 285.
yes, you do.
What page would
It's
that
right
be?
behind it.
On page 51?
No, it's at the end, after all of the, go after your damn fees and maintenance.
There we go.
And then he's got the breakdown of all of that.
What's the one stipend out of the telephone line, too?
That's for Steve's phone. He uses his own personal phone.
Oh,
He doesn't have a town phone.
also it says stipend when it's reimbursed?
Correct.
So all the highway guys have their own phone?
Yes.
We're still down a phone?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I believe Carl got a stipend as well. He used
Well, it
his own.
says 3 cell phones, 1 stipend.
Oh, excuse me. Carl turned his phone in. Steve's the only one that gets a stipend.
Right.
The other 3 employees had their own town phones.
So getting back to your point, Cindy, we have, do you want to take some of that out from that? We don't have 3 full-time employees plus a road agent.
Well,
That's-
John said we okayed that one last,
And just for clarification, this is for 2022. I don't know if the intent is not to refill that position for next year. This budget doesn't take effect until January 1st.
right, so that's the question, are we gonna fill that spot? Do we need that spot?
And this is a bottom line budget. If you don't spend that money, you can spend it elsewhere under winter contracting. It's not necessarily needing to, you don't have to move that
And
money.
we can also find out
Physically.
February if we really need to, or January if we really need that spot or not. I would say let's not cut it for now.
Right.
I don't see the point in removing it to then throw us in a major hole if we gotta fill that spot
Right.
come January, or
Keep
February.
it.
Okay, so we'll leave that be, that's what we voted last week, and now we're on the 743, 615.
Did you move that, Dick, or just?
No, I just read it off, so you have it in the minutes.
And so I guess last week I had asked about the salt, and we got a, what, almost a doubling in the, no, not quite. And we got my calculator, so I don't know what the increase is, but it's obviously a substantial
Fifty-three point
increase.
five seven.
Okay, very good.
They did the math for us.
Just read it.
That percentage compares this year's budget to what is proposed. So it's a
Yes, right.
53% increase.
But I guess the question I had was, how much of an increase have we had in the salt prices?
Well, if you look what was spent in 2020 and year-end 2020, what we've spent year-to-date, 46,300 was final in 2020. We're on course to spend at least that for the year-end 2021.
Unfortunately, we don't have the bid in the backup. We have the bid on the sand price, which is
Right.
11.48.
Salt is not bid.
Right.
Oh, it isn't?
No, we have two suppliers that we just juggle.
Okay.
Salt is just purchased as
Glad
needed.
we can get.
Yeah. Okay, I thought we had bid on that.
Nope.
So it's kind of a crapshoot based on what the price is then.
Yeah, right, and if the price has increased over what it was in 2020, or this year for that matter, then I guess we could take and justify it, but,
I think that's probably what comes out of that fund that Cindy asked about.
Well, that's all encompassing if that's any winter maintenance, I believe, including plowing money and
Mhm.
salt and sand.
right.
I always lean towards, we don't know what the heck we're getting for a winter, so plan for a bad one. And also, this is because the last real budget we had is based on that increase, isn't it? So this is a 53% increase over whatever we had budgeted 8 years ago, correct?
Correct. The last budget that passed was 2017, and that was only slightly increased over previous budgets that were default before then.
So when we're looking at that percentage increase, we're looking at a default, not what we had asked for last year.
Right. Well, I'm not necessarily looking at the percentage increase, I was looking at the actual dollar.
We did have a pretty light winter last year, too. I mean, the big blizzard hit before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just little ones.
Yeah, it wasn't much after that.
So we spent $3,300 on cutting edges last year, and now we need 75 for this year? We haven't gone back to buying people's cutting edges, right?
No. Those contracts were changed last winter.
Right.
So we had spent, so far this year, 3,300, as Cindy said, 3,300 bucks.
Right.
Guess we should have kept Steve here.
Hmm.
Hmm?
I said, I guess we should have kept Steve here.
Yeah, right.
Do we want to do it next week?
If I remember right, there was one cutting edge that he said was a rather expensive one. There's one for a V-plow that costs like 4 times what the other ones cost.
What I don't understand is there were cutting edges down in that garage last year that were pre-bought ahead of time. So where did we spend this cutting edge money? If we already had cutting edges in there, and they're the light snow we had last year, we used those cutting edges? Oh, I think I asked this last year too, how much do we change the cutting edges? I mean, that almost doubled too, so.
Mm-hmm.
I think you better come in next week.
Yeah,
What do you think, Fred?
yeah, I would agree.
Still October, we'll be okay.
When is the budget committee meeting?
Their meetings start in November.
Okay, so we still got enough time.
This is the only one that we have left. We'll be in
Yeah.
good
Is this
shape.
the only one we have left?
No, insurance.
Okay. But we can't be that far ahead.
Doing well.
If you table highway, you'll have planning board, highway, and whenever I get the insurance numbers, and I haven't gotten them yet.
Well, how about this? Is there any other lines that you want to have John find out about for the next meeting?
Actually, I'd prefer just to have Steve here to answer the questions.
Okay. I was about to say, in case Steve can't make it.
This is his budget, this is his
That's true.
department.
You know why he left? It was on here to be done.
Yeah.
I thought that's why he was here. I didn't realize he was just here for just the salt shed.
Salt shed's kind of minor compared to this budget.
So we're tabling highway?
And request his presence next
Yep.
Monday.
In a cutting edge inventory.
Yeah, you might as well ask about why we got an increase on the winter maintenance and contracting?
What's this say?
We had 111,600 in 2020 and 111,500 so far this year, so obviously we still have several months of winter, a couple of months of winter here in this year, but we're talking 160,000 for what's proposed.
He did raise the hourly rate.
Oh, okay.
Well,
So
it's a bid
remember
rate,
that
too, isn't it?
2020 budget will only catch the winter months at the end of the year with the increased rate. And then the remaining winter was the first 3 to 4 months of this year at the higher rate. That's why we're already at 111. Then we're going to add on the winter months of this year to that number, so it's
Right.
likely to be substantially higher.
You got that on your list, Sean?
What's the Parks and Lands line for?
To hold it in case we need it.
I know, but what is it for? I realize it's a placeholder, but what is Parks and Lands? Is that like to do VZ Park or that kind of thing?
I guess, yeah.
Let's see if I can come up with an answer for you, Cindy.
Okay. $20,000 to keep a crusher in our pit? Is that Steve's crusher?
That's what it was this year.
Yeah, but didn't we authorize 10,000 last year, didn't we? Is that the same crushing I'm thinking of?
The crusher, the expenditures this year, that was the rental of, for the reclaim that the board approved being crushed.
Okay, so it says have crusher in our pit another year. Crush ledge and pavement. $20,000. Previous budget was 16. So if we had to give him permission to do it last year, why aren't we having permission to give it to him this year?
What line are you looking at, Cindy?
I don't know.
The number at the end,
It's
734. I mean, it's processed gravel. I thought we were getting our stuff from Merrill.
Supposed
Yeah.
to be.
I don't have a 734.
Yeah, it's in the backup.
It's under road reconstruction.
Oh,
Highway Department budget. Oh, it doesn't.
734 is for material. Is that what you're looking at, Cindy?
Yeah,
It says processed gravel.
yeah, right.
it's in the,
I see it now.
she's in the backup info, John. If that's processed gravel plus the crusher, I think that would explain the question.
No, because we're supposed to be getting our gravel from Merrill.
But that
Right.
is processed gravel plus, I think,
That, actually, Cindy,
Gotta get
that's
him
an
in here.
old note, have crusher and pit another year.
that is the gravel we're buying, in addition to the gravel we're crushing, I think.
Gravel process, when we purchase gravel, that's where it's billed to, that line right there. And it doesn't have anything to do with whether we bid or not. If we purchase gravel through a bid, that's the line that it's charged to.
But Cindy asked a good question, why does he have this note in here, have crusher in our pit another year?
That's what I just explained. That's an old note that
Oh.
shouldn't be in there.
Okay,
Well, it needs to come out, because
Yeah.
that tells us that we're letting his.
That was
crusher-
just an oversight.
Okay.
Anything else, Alden?
Do you mind just getting us a price on what we're paying for salt?
yeah.
Just so we have a number? That way we're not just poking in the dark here.
Right.
Provided he's ordered any. I know the last comment he made, I don't know if he's ordered any
Yeah,
this year.
just, like I said, if we got some info, it's better than just stabbing.
I think he told us the shed was full, but
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can still get it.
But he also
today's-
said that would last like 2 storms, so
Mm-hmm,
we will be probably buying salt soon.
right.
If she starts mixing it.
But John's right, who knows if we've ordered it yet.
I haven't seen an invoice come in for salt yet, so I don't think he's ordered it. I'm sure he can call around and get a price.
Yeah. It would help, just so we know.
Well, and what last year's price, or this
Yeah.
year's current prices.
I know there's
Or-
giant piles of it down in Portsmouth, just waiting to get picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else on the highway budget before next Monday? Well, we'll wait for the road agent.
Yep.
Yep.
Hope for the best. Next will be the non-public, RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2C, if someone would like to make that motion.
I'll make a motion that we go into non-public under 91A32C.
Second.
Sorry,
Aye.
All right,
Yes.
he went the other way, he messed with us.
We are back in session. Can I get a motion to seal the minutes? No decisions were made.
so moved.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
Not used to this counterclockwise voting thing.
Start right with you. Thank you, everybody. Review of outstanding minutes for 10/12/21.
Motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
all right.
Aye. Okay, right, John. Here's that Corson one, so you have it. We have accounts payable manifest of $71,591.29.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We have a payroll manifest, check dated 10/19/2021, of gross payroll of $95,992.84, with a net payroll of $62,868.96.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, John. Want to wait on that?
Yeah, underneath there's the document you need to.
Under signatures, we have a contract, I guess you'd call it. You want to explain it, John?
A couple of weeks ago, I received an email from a representative from DES. Apparently, they are reviewing all of their septage agreements with all the towns in the state. What that boils down to, if a town or small city does not have a municipal waste system, you are required by the state to have what's called a septage agreement. Should something occur that you needed septage either pumped or a place to deposit it, you have to have an in-writing agreement with a municipality or town that does have a waste treatment plant. In this case, I reached out to Allenstown. They are willing to this year offer us a permit application for $100. Next year, they will get into a septage agreement with all of the towns that have contacted them. As you could imagine, we're one of many small towns that is calling all of these other communities. So the way they are handling it this year is they're issuing permits for $100. Next year, they'll write up agreements with us. So this year, we have an application in front of you.
That's the closest option.
Correct.
Yes,
For us
it's, like John says, for $100.
Yeah.
We need a motion to approve the signing
make a
by the
motion that we
vice chair, and
Make a motion that we go ahead with the $100.
Second.
permit fee.
second by Fred. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, John. I signed it.
Yeah, we don't have a septage lagoon or anything.
No.
Up at the
No.
transfer station.
No.
The last septage agreement we had was with Concord, and that was good from 2008 to 2013. So it's been quite a while since we've had one on record. That's why they contacted us.
Do you want to take up the tax lien under your report?
Yes. Kelly was unable to be here tonight. She was ill today, but I did discuss the leaning report with her. And after talking with her, her recommendation, along with mine, is for the liens that were presented in the packet this year, is to waive all of the current lien holders this year. The majority of them are already in a payment plan. Two of them have been paid off, and two others, there's some question as to the address that the tax bills were being sent to. She wants to give it another year to verify that the address is accurate before we move further. So this year's recommendation is to sign the waivers.
And that's this,
Each one of those needs to be signed, yes.
correct? Do we need a motion to sign?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fred.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second by Alden. All in favor?
All right.
I go by Kelly's advice. We'll sign these, and
Yeah, that one for the Corey Wildlife is really odd. That seems to
That's
be-
probably going to be a housekeeping issue, and there'll be a
I'm guessing
refund.
that's going up to Concord and nobody knows what the heck to do with it.
In the correspondence file, there's the minutes of the planning board and a notice of the planning board to come up, and there's also, I'll read it, a memorandum from the Library Board of Trustees of the Philbrook James Library. We, the trustees of the library, are writing on behalf of Candace Yost to announce her resignation as director of the library. We received the resignation from her via email Tuesday, October 5th, stating that her last day of work would be Tuesday, October 19th. Her final day of employment for the library was the 13th. Please see below the text of her resignation. We are beginning the search process for a new director. Town administrator,
I have no updates for you this
Nothing.
evening.
okay. New or unfinished business from board members?
That reminded me, John, one of the library trustees reached out to me the other day. They want to discuss security measures that the town uses because they're looking to implement something over at the
I got an
library.
email from one of the trustees, and I've been in corresponding with her.
I just wanted to make sure.
Cindy, anything?
Mm-mm.
Fred? Nope. Citizens' comments? Quiet evening. Go
Move
ahead,
to-
Alden.
Make a motion to adjourn at can't read that without
6:30,
glasses.
close.
6:33.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, John.